know I try to be a good man. I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I want to go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parco, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here with my special guest, Jamie Eager. She is a representative with First American Home Warranty. Jamie, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Ed.
Well, you know, I've wanted you on. You probably didn't know that, but because we talk about home, you know, all the stuff that's important for people when they buy a house. And I think a home warranty is one of the most important things. And a lot of people don't feel that way. And we can get fully into that through the show. And then, you know, there's a lot I need to talk about how, you know, we're here to help people get into homes because building personal wealth is, you know, what home ownership will do for most people because most people won't save, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to jump right into this. All right. So for me, we have a couple homes, and I know you've helped us a few times with the home warranty, and each time it was major that we had repairs. You know, you don't know how old your heating and air conditioning is. I mean, you kind of do when you buy a house. They tell you there's these issues. And we had a house that was built in 1950, and I think the air conditioner last was replaced in the 80s, right? And so it couldn't keep up to the heat, it couldn't keep up to a lot of stuff. So we had a home warranty on it, and it went out. And I was amazed.
I remember.
Yeah. And this is on the actual house, you know, so they have to come out with the crane, they have to come out, and I heard so many horrible stories how, you know, a lot of that stuff's not covered, it's going to still cost you an arm and a leg. And it ended up, I think, costing us out of pocket for our part of it. You know, what does a normal air conditioning heating system run? $6,000 plus?
Easy.
Yeah.
I had an estimate done on a 1,600 square foot home that I own, investment property, and to change out the heater and the air conditioner, it would have been $9,600.
Right.
So do you want me to jump in here and
Go.
just talk a little bit about,
go.
okay, so.
I mean, we have the whole show, but it doesn't matter where we start. So let's go with, so let me just finish real quick. So
Okay.
mine was, you know, it only ran us $1,300 that we had to come out because you guys don't, you'll get more in this, but there were certain permits we had to pull, updates that they have to do for the new changes and stuff. And then also we had to have new ducts put in, right? Because our ducts were older, right? So there's other stuff that you have to do.
Right.
Right.
And sometimes that can happen. Bottom line is the way that it works with the warranty is we're going to cover the entire cost of the heating system, the permit, if they have the first class upgrade. We will also cover $250 towards the labor, $250 towards that permit. We will also cover the disposal and haul away of the old unit. And you talked about when you have a roof mounted unit, there's a crane that is
Right.
needed to get the old unit off and put the new unit on. So that is included. And then of course, disposal of your old equipment. And so what's not covered is anything over and above the $250 towards a permit, $250 towards code upgrades, as well as any modifications that might have to be made. And then also, the state of California does require that you do duct testing anytime a heater, air conditioner, or evaporative coil is changed out. So what that means is a third party has to come in and do this duct testing to make sure that your duct system is not leaking more than 15%. And unfortunately, the home warranty industry hasn't started embracing or covering the cost of that duct testing, that energy efficiency test that's required.
Right. And when you're talking about all this, but you also cover the unit.
Yeah, we cover the unit and the labor.
But the way you're explaining, somebody might have missed that.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yes.
And so, and then for those who don't know me, I'm Ed Parco, your host. What's important, you know, because what was weird about this whole thing is our unit went out on our Brady house, and then our unit went out on our cabin at within months of each other.
Yep.
And I had the same up there, cost wise. But I wanted somebody more local up there, so I ended up. You can do what's called a buyout, right? Where they give you so much and go get your own unit and do all the work yourself.
That
right?
is correct. We can do a cash out if that's something that the homeowner is interested in, and that can happen, Ed, too. Sometimes people want a larger unit, and we'd replace like for like.
Right.
So if somebody wanted to really upgrade their unit.
Right. Because I know a lot of homes get remodeled and they add more square foot, but they never add a bigger unit. And then the unit can't, it's only there for 2,000 square feet. And now they have 2,500 square feet. So there's issues like that.
Correct. That does come up quite often.
Yeah, I can see that. Because, I mean, even us, we have a one-car garage, older home, right? And so we turned that into a gym, and it's like to extend from the house, that makes no sense. To add a unit inside the actual garage that's separate from it makes more sense.
Exactly, and you have to have air conditioning in a gym.
Yeah, it's not CrossFit. So. All right, so what we're talking about, the buyout and I mean, you don't get the same amount of money. If you guys replace the unit, it's gonna be less for the person than if they do the buyout.
Well, yeah, because
money-wise, right?
Right, because we have contracts with our suppliers and with the contractors, so we're not paying retail.
Right.
And so when we do a cash out, it is definitely going to be the amount that the warranty company would pay for that replacement of that unit.
Right. All right, so now we talked about that, but let's go way back and talk about your industry and about what you do, okay, and what everything it covers in your policy.
Okay.
Because we just talked about one little thing, because that was about me. Everything's about me, so.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, so home warranty, for most people, they hear about it, they don't think it's important. They think that, why should I get a home warranty? I'll never use it. It's going to cost too much to do anything. And for me, I always tell them, get a home warranty, because, I mean, even a garbage disposal is more than what it's going to cost you for their service.
Exactly. The warranty typically covers the heating, the air conditioning, the ductwork, your water heater, your range oven, cooktop, microwave. It covers the electrical system, the plumbing system. I think I mentioned the duct system. It also covers the hoods or built-in microwaves, garbage disposals, trash compactors, garage door openers. Those are pretty much the common things. Now, of course, they can add optional coverages. But when you say that...
What are the optional coverages?
Some of the optional coverages would be a swimming pool and spa equipment. It would be a well pump, septic system. We have limited
You can
roof
add septic
coverage.
system?
Yes, you can add septic system. And there can be some limits on some of those additional optional coverages that you do add on. So I always encourage people, to review the policy to know what some of the dollar limits may be. But let's just go back to when you said sometimes people don't think that they need a warranty. First of all, it doesn't matter the age of the home.
Right.
I mean, I think that we just can't be prejudiced as to the age of the home, because I know when we bought our first home, it had a pool and spa, and the house was only 4.5 years old. And I thought, we're not going to need to cover the pool and the spa. Let's just go ahead and get the regular warranty. And our agent, brilliant, insisted.
This is before you were in the industry, or
I was in the industry for 8 years, but I was in the Stockton area. I didn't know any agents in the Modesto area.
Gotcha.
And she insisted, though, that we get that pool option, and I'm so glad that she did, because the one item that went out was the pool pump. And this was back in the mid-'90s, and it was about a $660 repair out of pocket that the warranty company paid. Would have been a lot more for us as homeowners with that retail.
Right. And people don't realize, I mean, pool pumps are notorious for going out.
Absolutely.
I hear from so many people where they have, the one that goes bad, then they have that one actually repaired and sitting aside while they get a new one, and just sitting there just in case it goes out, because they go out. Our other house that we had on Keepsake, it would go out every couple of years, it seemed like.
Right.
Good pumps. You never know how much it's being used.
Well, and I just thought, the house is only 4.5 years old.
Right.
What could go wrong? And our agent literally said, you never know.
You never know. That is correct. So we have about a minute for a break. Is there anything you want to add to that coverage? Like the pool heater, does it cover the heater?
Yeah, it does cover the heater. It's basically the above ground equipment. Anything underground, any pipes, any electrical wiring, or anything that's wet. So anything in the pool, if a tile cracks, if the plaster cracks, if the sweep goes out, unfortunately, those items aren't covered. So it's the above ground equipment. One of the things I like to mention, too, is that homeowners use their warranty on average of 2 times per year. So they do use it quite often, a lot more than homeowners insurance.
Well, of course, yeah. Homeowners insurance problem, if you use that, then they put you in that little system, and then it gets harder and harder to get insurance after that.
Right.
All right. Well, let's go to break, and then we'll talk about this more when we get back. Hey, we're going to head out to break. And if you need to get in contact with us, you can hit #250 from your phone. Say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll be there for you. So we'll talk to you when we get back. See how fast that was? First one done. So what about so like a lot of the older pools have the older electrical stuff. You know, they don't have the LED lights. They have the other lights. Like there was that person who got electrocuted.
You guys sound amazing.
Years ago, or a year or so ago, that was in the pool. They got electrocuted by the light. So say the light goes out in the pool. Will you fix it? You won't fix the light?
No,
Okay.
we don't cover anything that's underground or wet.
Gotcha. That's not one.
Yeah. I mean, kind of best way to put it, easiest way to put it. Because people
Pipes in
can
the
wrap
house.
their head around that.
Pipes in the house.
Yeah, we cover what's within the
Okay.
foundation
Well,
of
we
the
got to
home.
talk about that because you didn't bring that up.
Okay.
Okay, headphones on so I can get the
And then
pictures.
septic. Since we
I
have
didn't
Betsy
know that
here.
you
We have
covered
Betsy in here a
septic.
lot.
Yeah, there's a $500 limit on the septic,
So that's
so
really nothing.
it's really
That's for
nothing.
maybe pumping and clearing a little clog.
Right. So it sure doesn't cover a lot of the
Yeah, because
replacement.
Do you want to talk about history of home warranty at all?
I think it's interesting, and I think people should know that it hasn't been, how does this stuff come about? Why is it? And I like the idea of why it was realtors that were trying to cover their butts, basically, because it was just a problem. It was a good thing the real estate industry was
Well, it
trying
keeps
to
you from getting sued a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't understand why sellers just doesn't automatically put on and pay for it because it's a home. It limits
Yeah,
the headache.
exactly. There, yep, of comebacks. Yep.
All right. All right. So you good?
I'm good.
What's the matter?
No, just a little nervous. But
Why?
no,
Why?
I've done this before, but you know how it is.
No one's here listening right now.
I know.
So if there's an issue, you mess up, it's not a big deal. We can start over on each segment. So not a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. Like sometimes on my intro, I start and it's like, oh man, let's start that one over.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. So bring us back in, and then you want to talk about your history? How you start? How'd you get into the home
Oh,
warranty?
yeah.
You wanna talk
I
about
can do that.
And then we'll get more into home warranty after that.
Okay.
All right. All right. "12 minutes this time. When I do this, that's how much longer we have. 2 minutes. I forgot to tell you that.
I got it.
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
We're back, and for those of you just tuning in, I'm Ed Parco, mortgage advisor with Lending for Living, and your host, along with my guest, Jamie Eager. Right, Eager, right?
Right.
Okay. First American Home Warranty. And I've known you for a few years, since I've been here in Modesto. That's how I first met you. But how did you get into the business? Let's talk about how you got into home warranty.
Okay. Well,
Did you go to school and say, I want to be a home warranty rep? Is that what it was?
No, actually, I didn't do that, Ed. I was with Olin Mills Portrait Studio for about 5 years, and one of the girls that I worked with, she had left and got in the warranty industry, and after about 3 years, she came to me while I was on my way in the door to work and said, we have an opening in Stockton. I really think that you need to apply as a home warranty rep. And so I went ahead, and the rest is history, and it's been almost 31 years ago.
Wow.
I know.
What's the biggest changes in the 31 years that you've seen?
That we've added a lot of coverage, because when I first got into the warranty, when we talk about like covering the garage door openers and trash compactors and things like that, even microwaves, homes didn't typically have all of those things built in, and so, or automatically with a home. And even the garage door openers, a lot of them were just, you opened it yourself manually. And so,
Had the springs. Yeah.
Exactly. And the handles on the outside that you had to get out of your car and open them up. And so with all of those changes, and we're going to see more and more get added to warranties as homes evolve and become more smart and have a lot more bells and whistles. So I think that's the biggest change that's come about.
So 30 years ago, that would mean that'd be in like the 90s, 90.
I started in 88.
88. So then the industry had only been it started what,
71.
71. So
Yeah.
it was really new, right, at that time.
It was. It was. And interestingly enough, when the warranty industry started in 1971, it was because real estate brokers were getting a lot of callbacks from buyers, obviously, when something broke. And so they were having to deal with a lot of out-of-pocket expenses, even though it wasn't necessarily their fault that something went out. I mean, let's just face it, things fail due to normal wear and tear and age. And so they, band together. And so that's kind of how the home warranty industry started. And then about 6-7 years later, it had to become regulated by the government. And so it is now under the California Department of Insurance, which I think is a really good thing, because back in the early 70s when warranties started, companies could make all this money on the premium and then go out of business and not pay out on claims. So that's not going to happen today with the safeguards of having a government entity govern the warranty industry.
Right, because there's actually a show on Netflix called Laundromat or something on that, and it's about the shell companies who were created and underwritten certain insurance for certain things, for restaurants, certain things, and other boats, and this and accident, and then they would never pay out on claims,
right?
Because they would just close up and go away because you couldn't find out who the company was. One person was a director for 30 different companies, and so I could see that that's important to be regulated so people can get the payout and you can move forward.
Exactly. And I think it's a really good thing. We have to file our contract. We have to file our rates. So, everything across the board is fair for consumers.
Right. Because not every company is the same. And I'll explain. I had a client of mine call me she bought a house in a different state. I wasn't involved with it, but the air conditioning went out and their home warranty company would only cover $700 of it.
Right.
So you really have to know the company you're getting and what they can do and what they won't do before. So I always tell people I recommend your company all the time.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Do you deal directly with consumers too? Yourself personally, or you just work with the agents?
We do. Primarily the warranty that we have and what I do is geared toward the real estate industry, but we do have another product called Consumer Direct. So if somebody's been in their house for 10 years, 15 years, and they're starting to get concerned about the age and integrity of their home systems and appliances, they can add it on. We do ask, just like any policy that we sell, that everything is in good working order at start of coverage.
Of course it is. Never would anybody call up and say, at least wait 2 weeks before you make that first claim.
Correct. Yeah, we do have a product online where I think that there is a waiting period, but the products that I offer, the Consumer Direct and the real estate product, doesn't have a waiting period.
So would you mind giving out your number if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to get the policy, or what number would you want them to call?
Yeah, absolutely. My cell number is 209-300-4384. You want me to repeat that?
Sure.
209-300-4384.
I mean, that way, because, a lot of consumers are going to hear about this and go, wow, I should get one. I mean, because if I said this before the break, we're talking about garbage disposals, right?
Right.
They seem no big deal to put in and out, but I think a service call is how much?
$75.
So it's a lot more to do a garbage disposal than $75.
Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes I think people don't think about things adding up. So you might have the garbage disposal go out 1 month, and the next month it's a faucet that's leaking, and the next month it's a toilet that starts leaking, and the next month. So
you do toilet leaks?
Yes.
So all right, before you went through appliances and stuff, what else part of the house you covered? Do you cover pipes? Do you cover what?
Yeah, so it's all the electrical and plumbing that is within the foundation of the home. Obviously, the home warranty industry had to kind of draw a line in the sand somewhere. Right. So that's why typically plumbing lines that break out in a yard, unfortunately, are not covered. And most of the time, what is a culprit for that is tree roots. They go into the lines and cause all kinds of havoc. But unfortunately, that's not covered.
Especially in the older part of Modesto, like I'm in there, they're always in there. You clean them out, they're back in.
Right. So it's something I think that we'd have to start charging probably a lot more for the warranty if we started covering those lines outside the foundation of a home.
And so let's go back to the electrical. So you cover the panel also?
Yes, the electrical service panel, even if it might be located on the outside of the house.
And most of them are.
Correct. We're still going to be covering that. So whether it be a breaker that go out, whether it be the entire service panel that go out, and something else to keep in mind is, as I mentioned earlier, there is upgraded coverage. I always think that's really important to get because, Ed, not only when you change a heater, air conditioner, or water heater out, but when you change an electrical service panel, a permit also needs to be pulled for that. So I think it's really important that the homeowner have that additional coverage should something like that need to be done.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, because I keep bringing it up, I use the home warranty all the time. We had a electrical issue go out in our family room. We had no idea what it was. There was somehow became a break in the line, and they had to rerun the wire, and it was all covered. Mm-hmm. So, see, service charge $75. It was worth it.
Definitely worth it.
I think that was when it was $65. That was a couple of years ago.
Okay, well, I have to admit, when I started in the home warranty industry, the service fee was only $35. So, and it's really based on what the contractors charge. So it's just, in fact, I think $75 is still very reasonable, because there's a lot of different contractors out there that charge anywhere from $85 to $95 just to run a service call. So that's not even them doing any work. That's just them coming and knocking on your door.
Right. So and an hour, not even, that's what they charge an hour too on top of it sometimes.
Right.
So
exactly.
I think it's really worth it. Now, I know you're talking about how it got started with people in the real estate industry, but I'm still surprised today that when a seller sells a home, the listing agent doesn't help them understand that they should have this on their home, because it would be such a peace of mind for them when they sell it. If some issue happens, that it could go through the home warranty, instead of them going back to the seller going, you knew about this. No, we didn't.
Right. And you know what? And let's face it, nobody knows. We could drive our car to work and it gets us there just fine. And then at the end of the day, we go to leave and it won't start. What happened from the time we got to work until we got in it at the end of the day? Who knows what happened? However, in situations like that, the same thing is applicable with a mechanical malfunction. A seller is not going to know when something goes out. So I do think it's a really good idea. I know when we bought our home, the seller provided the 1-year warranty for us. I think that it gives them an immense amount of peace of mind knowing a buyer's not going to come back to them after the close of escrow, and then, of course, protects the buyer from budget protection. When they buy a house, most of the time they're putting everything they have down on that house.
Right.
And any monies that they might set aside is going to be for the pretty stuff. It's going to be for the decorative stuff. It's going to be for new furniture. It's going to be maybe even for new stainless steel appliances or something like that. But they don't want to put it into a water heater, because they're sure not going to grab somebody by the hand and say, come in the garage and look at my brand new sparkly water heater.
Well, when we bought our cabin, they had put a brand new hot water heater and it wouldn't heat up, right? Mm-hmm. And they came out and checked it, and one of the top filament, or the thing that warms it up, it was electrical, was bad, the element. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they replaced that and it worked.
Right. So. And things that are under manufacturer warranty, we will typically we are not going to cover the actual unit if it's still under manufacturer warranty. However, what's wonderful is we're going to take care of the labor. So it's still important anytime that they have something go wrong with the house that they call us first. They don't just call their own contractor and then call us and say, hey, I just had this problem and I want to give you the invoice now. Right. It doesn't work that way. The claims do have to be placed through us.
And there are some times where they call in, they might say that's not covered, but then if they have a representative like yourself that they can contact, sometimes you can say, no, that was wrong. We can get that fixed. I'm not saying all the time, but exactly. I've heard stories where they said, no, that's not covered. And you're like, no, that's not right.
Right. And there can be cases like that where I say, you know what, give me a copy of the invoice. Let me see what we can do. Right. So, and it's reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Right. So we got about a minute for break. What else do you want to throw in there real quick?
With regard to buyers, just even if the seller isn't going to pay for a 1-year warranty for you, I think it's so important to get one on your own.
And how much would that be on average?
Our plan starts at $440, and that does include the air conditioning. I mean, we have a plan for $310, but that does not include the air conditioning. I do not recommend that in the Central Valley, even the foothills, because everybody has some type of air conditioner now.
Yeah.
Whether
definitely.
that be central, whether that be an evaporative cooler, or whether that be window units. And those are the types of things that we want to make sure. Those are big ticket items, and we want them covered.
All right. I think that's important. So let's leave here. Go to break. Hey, we'll be right back and give you more to chew on about home warranty right here on Real Estate Jerky. If you have any real estate questions, you can give us a call at pound 250 from your cell. Say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll talk. We'll talk to you when we get back. This says roofing.
I don't know if you wanted me to do the little fun facts about myself.
We already did that. Oh, no, we didn't do fun facts. We just went how you got into it.
Yeah, how I got into it.
We're at 31 years. We did that. We didn't talk about that you're married, and now you do physical fitness.
Okay.
We can leave that for like in case we have like
A
if you
filler?
Don't, yeah,
Filler
yeah,
at the end?
yeah.
Okay.
If that's because we're gonna have 9 minutes at the end.
Okay.
Let's see. We talk about that.
We could talk about the just the failure due to normal wear and tear. And Ed, I can give an example
Please,
of
give us a few
of a
examples.
water heater. Okay, a water heater
we
that
have it, we
a
can do it.
homeowner literally ran her car into it. So
Huh?
yeah, and tried to say, please, just you guys get this covered because my husband's gonna kill me. He's gonna be mad at me. So
Let's not get the ideas in their head to run into their stuff.
I know. And then we can also do the pest control. We can do the reed key. And
I didn't know about the Reiki.
it's new.
Oh.
It's been around for 1 year. And it's only in our real estate product, not the consumer direct product.
All right, so they need to get it ahead of time. All right, so we're just,
Well,
no, I mean when they buy the house, when they first buy
right,
it.
right. Yeah, they can get it reed keyed that first year. Because I mean, typically
So how
people
much?
are.
And that's $75.
It's $75 service call. And typically people are concerned about who might have a key out there, who the previous
Right.
owner gave the keys to. So,
Here for.
and I can go into a little more about the cash out too, in terms of appliances,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to.
Yeah. Why don't we just start? We'll bring us back, and then once you, and I'll throw it to you, and you can bring up about different scenarios that
Okay.
you got into.
Okay.
Let's make it real.
Yeah. Oh, we got real.
See, it's pretty easy. It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal. So you asked me how I liked it. I mean, I like the show. I like doing it. But after a year, it's just you're like, okay, what else can we do? Who's new? What next? You know. So I'm trying to get some agents in here, different agents. Like Betsy's in here about at least once a month from the foothills, talking about the foothills. You know. So.
Well, can't you talk about, I mean, there's so many loan programs and
But it's not always about loan. Like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have a VA guy on. He's an agent. He was here a year ago. He's a vet who was blown up in Kandahar inside of a tank. It wasn't a tank. It was a track, and he got burned all over his body. And all he wanted to do during all his surgeries and everything was become a real estate agent. So we had him in here during Veterans Day, and he's coming back during Veterans Day.
oh,
again.
that's incredible.
And he's been doing really well up in Stockton. So.
That's awesome.
But you're talking, yeah, we can talk about, but people don't want to hear about programs all the time. It's more than that. Yes, we can talk about, different loan programs. We have VA, FHA, all that stuff. When I had the agent in here, it worked. We brought it up each show occasionally or whatever, and it worked. But people want to know more stuff, like when we did the show about 1031 exchange. Oh my God, everybody loved that show.
Yeah.
Because people didn't realize. I didn't realize you could take a rental and buy a second home with that same exchange. You just had to rent it out the first year 14 days and the second year 14 days.
Yeah.
And you can't be there more than those days, and go ahead and now turn it into a actual second home, so you don't have the tax capital gains on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
It is.
That's why a lot of people are buying the second homes up in Tahoe and up in the foothills with that.
Twin Heart and Lombard.
All right, I guess we'll get going.
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
That's right, we're back. And I'm here with my guest, Jamie Eager, First American Home Warranty. And I'm your host, Ed Parco, mortgage advisor at Lending for Living. And during the break, we're talking about different scenarios and different things. So why don't you give our listeners a scenario of different things that you know about, you've seen, and what has happened? Can
Right.
you do that?
Sure. The real life stories.
It's story time. Story time.
And, interestingly enough, the first thing that somebody says when they call me is, let me just give an example. The water heater is leaking. Is that covered? And my immediate reaction to that is I want to go, yes, of course a leaking water heater is covered. However, that's not the answer that I give. I let them know as long as it's leaking due to normal wear and tear. This homeowner that happened to call me, she was frantic and she's like, how soon can you get somebody out here? So I went ahead and called a few different plumbers. We found somebody that can service it that afternoon. And I happen to know a lot of my contractors. So this particular contractor that was dispatched to the service called me later that afternoon and he said, Jamie, are you sitting down? And I said, yeah, I'm in my car. What's going on? He said, well, when I got out there, she had driven her SUV into the garage too far and she hit the water heater with her SUV. So sadly, I had to be the bearer of bad news to this homeowner that her water heater wasn't leaking due to normal wear and tear. And the plumber let her know, I'm not sure if this is a homeowner's insurance claim or a auto insurance claim, but it sure didn't happen just due to old age. So
You mean the water heater didn't jump in front of the car?
No, it didn't, unfortunately. And her biggest concern to the plumber was, my husband's going to kill me when he comes home and finds out that I hit the water heater. So there are some things that unfortunately aren't going to be covered. And yeah, it's difficult to be the bearer of bad news with some of those things. Other items that aren't covered is maybe if there's been any misuse or abuse, if there's been any pet or pest damage.
Give me a misuse. Like what?
Somebody drives their car into that. Or, okay, little toddlers that open up the dishwasher door and use that as a stepladder to get up onto the counter or to get into the cupboards. And just from the weight of them, break the hinges on the door.
Gotcha.
And yes, we've had that happen too. So that's not normal.
Foil
use
in the
of-
microwave?
Yeah, exactly. The big fireball coming out. Also, any secondary damage. So a lot of times when people call us, let's say there's an upstairs shower that started leaking or an upstairs toilet that started leaking and it does damage to the downstairs ceiling. What the warranty company is responsible for is taking care of that leak that failed due to normal wear and tear, but we're not going to take care of the water damage. That's what their homeowner's insurance is in place for. But being in the industry as long as I have, I really like to talk to homeowners about, I've had a lot of things happen to my own home. Our first home had a roof mount heating and air conditioning system like yours did, and the condensate lines started leaking. And so when I got up in the morning, there was a big bubble sag in the kitchen ceiling. And so, yeah, the warranty came out and took care of the actual condensate line leak, but we needed to hire a sheetrock guy. So we got somebody out for $300, cut out that section of the sheetrock, repatched it, textured, and painted. So we were back in business where our deductible would have been $1,000. So we were able to take care of it ourselves just for a few $100s. So I really like to help educate homeowners on, here's some options. Here's some different ways to go about that, because a lot of them don't know how to navigate through these things that come up with their homes. And I just want to be a resource to them and a help to them.
Right. I remember you brought up in the beginning, you were talking about the garage door opener, right? And I remember when I bought my house back in 2002, it was before I got remarried. And I went to them and I ended up getting the house and moved in, and I went to open the garage door. I was like, where's the garage door opener? I came from San Diego. Every house had an automatic garage door opener. They're like, oh, no, it's manual.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Get out and do it yourself.
So, of course, you had to get one installed.
That's wild.
Yeah. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
But now, does the coverage cover washer, dryer?
Okay, washer, dryers, and refrigerators are an extra optional coverage. However, we do have a plan that includes that. And the only time that I really recommend to people getting the refrigerator, washer, dryer covered is two different scenarios. If the seller is going to be leaving their existing refrigerator, washer, or dryer in the home, so they're a little older, or like we did when we bought our second home, our refrigerator, washer, dryer were each 15 years old. And I was concerned about the age and integrity of those three appliances. So I went ahead and added those onto our policy and paid the difference. Didn't ask the seller to do that for us. We did it ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, especially when you're buying a house, I think it's so important to get a home warranty, because you were talking about before, they don't have any money left over, most people.
Right.
They're scraping for their down payment. Closing costs are covered by the seller possibly or some other way, and they're not going to have it. And I know that on new homes, the first year's covered by the new home people. Right. And then after that, you guys would, after the second year on, you guys would pick it up, right? Is that correct?
Exactly. Because many of the appliances, anyway, are going to have a manufacturer warranty that are on there for 12 months as well. And then after that, you just never know what can happen. And I don't think that they make things like they used to. I mean, things are just put together a lot faster, and I think a lot more disposable than they were 30, 40, 50 years ago. And there's a lot more electronics now that go along with a lot of these appliances that people have, where they're push pads and they're all computerized.
Smart, everything on them like a TV and everything.
Yes, exactly. And another important element that we recently started adding to coverage for the real estate product, and that is a rekey service to get a locksmith out there to change the locks because the new homeowner doesn't know who the previous owner gave any keys to. So for the service call fee of $75, they can have up to 6 locks changed, and we'll give them 4 copies of keys.
Well, and they're all the same key, right, for every lock.
Exactly.
Versus doing it yourself and not knowing how to rekey them all.
Right.
What else is new? Anything new?
Well, yeah, something that I'd like to talk about, because I know that when we were in our first home, it was just a normal track home. And so when our oven went out, I knew that I really wanted to upgrade my oven. I love to cook. I bake lots of cookies. And so I wanted to enhance it from just a normal 4-burner 2-rack oven. I wanted to get the 4 burners with the grill in the middle, with 3 racks, with convection. And so
cheap, a really cheap oven.
So which I opted to do was cash out, because what the warranty does is replace like for like. So they were going to replace my oven based on what I had. And so what I opted to do was take the cash out, so then that way I could go out to the store and purchase exactly what I wanted. We want homeowners to be in charge of their own destiny. It's their home. It's where they spend most of their time. So we really want them to be able to have options available to them. Of course, if the homeowner doesn't want to upgrade and doesn't want to do any enhancements, then that way we go ahead and we order the unit and we install the new unit, and then of course dispose of their old unit. So in this case, when I took the cash out, it was including the cost that the warranty would pay for the unit, the labor, and the disposal of my old one. So I cashed out for everything. So when I bought my new one, I had to take care of all that.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me also. Our stove, there was an issue with it, and they came out, and so we ended up just getting the cash out for it. So they took it off the warranty. You couldn't call about it again because we were going to remodel the kitchen, and get new appliances.
Well, and if somebody does do that when they take a cash out, they can actually send us proof that they bought a new one. So then that way the exclusion will be lifted and they've got the coverage again. But again, it kind of goes back to the manufacturer that I was talking about earlier. That first year, they make good on a defective product. However, even if they have to call a manufacturer rep 9 months on an oven that's gone out, we'll take care of the labor on that. So that's why they still need to call us with those types of situations.
So the parts will be covered by the manufacturer, but you'll pay for the labor.
Correct.
And that's in that $75 service charge.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Any major, any issue that you've come across in the past that you didn't think was going to be covered that got covered? I know I threw it out there without asking ahead of time, but
no, you know what? I mean, Ed, about 80 to 90% of those service calls that come in are covered. I mean, so we do cover a lot. And there's such that misconception that, the warranty doesn't do anything.
Right.
One of the things that I really like to talk about, too, is the fact just having a home inspection. I think it's really important and I know this is maybe a little bit off.
No, we're talking about real estate.
Beaten path, but
it's called real estate jerky.
Exactly. And one of the things in attending a lot of real estate classes, the listening to real estate attorneys, they say 2 of the best practices that a real estate agent can have, or that buyers or sellers can do, is having a home inspection and a home warranty, because it really does reduce your liability. The home inspection opens your eyes wide to what it is that you're purchasing, and it is the biggest purchase of your life. And so therefore, I do think that that is something that they should know what they're getting themselves into. And, if anything is found on that home inspection report, obviously needs to be addressed between buyer and seller. They can't, because there's sometimes buyers will call us and say, yeah, this was in our home inspection report, and we just waited until it closed escrow to go ahead and call it in.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, because that would be considered a known defect.
Right, and what's nice about the home inspection is then if something fails afterwards, like the heater, the moment you move into it, you have an inspection report that said, hey, it was working fine when it was inspected before close, and then something just happened. So the one thing about it is if you do have it and it's working fine, it's great. But if it says it's not working fine, you say you're not going to get it fixed, then
Right, but you nailed it on the head. I mean, you've got that inspection report saying, giving it that clean bill of health, and that's what we want.
Right, of course. Because I know there's heaters. A lot of people, on pool equipment, people, the heater was working, and then they go out to turn it on, and it's not working now once they own it, and then they go to put a claim in, and they say, no, it's too soon or whatever. I'm not saying that, but some places will do that.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go out to break, shall we?
Okay.
You good with that?
No, I'm good with that.
All right. We'll be right back after our break. And if you want to get in contact with us, it's #250. Say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. You can reach us through email at radio@realestatejerky. You can get a hold of us 24/7 by Googling us, and we'll talk to you when we get back. We only have 9 minutes left, so you need to let me know what we need to go over to make sure that you are good.
Okay.
You don't have to let me know right now. All right, so what do you want to go over this last segment? We need you to tell them your number again if you're good with that. So
Okay.
Be careful, you're going to start getting some calls.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's not a bad problem to have now, is it?
Yeah, and I got to look at it. I think mine expired on my two houses. You don't do land, do you?
No, we don't do land. Because remember, home warranty.
No, we bought 32 acres on Twain Hart.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Build on it.
Awesome.
Get away from people. My wife says, I want to get away from people. No, I'm going to try her. Now you tell me.
Awesome. You guys are going to be great.
Okay,
That
thank
sounds
you.
amazing.
You're not just saying that?
No.
No, I won't say that unless, no. You've had this much, and you already know that about me, I'm sure. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No, I don't say that unless
Did
it's
you know
true.
her sister does Betsy's
Yes,
hair?
I did. Betsy told me that. I remembered it. I forgot, and then I remembered it because I said, "Who does your hair?" Because I can't talk Janine into she's not wanting to do that for me, and I want it real
Oh,
bad.
I got
I
some
know,
clippers.
I know.
I can do it for you.
Well, there's a little more to it than that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
There is.
Otherwise
It's the
it won't-
blending.
Yeah, the
It's
blending.
the blending.
yes.
You've got to have somebody darn good
And my
to
hair
get
is
that.
super curly,
Yep.
super thick, and she just doesn't want to do it.
Oh.
I don't blame her. I get it.
I know something I want to touch on is like review your coverage. Read your policy. People just don't read. I mean, I'm as guilty as the next person, so I just kind of like to
It's fine.
keep it real and review it.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, I read mine. I had no idea stuff it covered. It wasn't about what it didn't cover, but what it does cover is
Right.
amazing. You know. So, all right, we got 9 minutes.
Yeah.
My son's taking he has 2 more tests before he gets out of the normal EMT medical right now in the Army. So he's got a test today, and then he's got his the actual EMT test tomorrow or Friday. And so
Right on.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's fast.
he was hurting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what I try to explain to people, military school is there's no time to do anything but study and do that. There's no time for playing around or
Yeah.
whatever. And he was a 70, 72, 76, 74. And if you get under 70, you're out of there. So he's getting nervous.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
like,
different,
study.
it's a
Study.
different gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flashcards. Write it on a flashcard. Do the whole stuff. It's stuff I've been telling you all through high school that you never listened because you thought you knew better. I didn't know how to do it until I got there. Because same thing.
Is he listening?
He got 80 yesterday. So
All right.
he's moving up.
Yay. That's
Good.
cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like the whole thing, you know. What do you call a person who graduates with a 70% in medical school?
A doctor.
Doctor.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right. What is it? Beth always says, C's get degrees.
That's right.
C's get degrees.
That's
These are-
funny.
'Cause she's
When you're
medical.
ready.
My daughter. She works and has 4 kids and has been going to nursing school.
Tell him whenever he's ready.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Ready, set, Javier.
So 9 minutes, that's it. And
Okay.
then at the end, I'll just, and so read it once you get through them, and then I want you to say your number again.
Okay.
And if you like an email, you know what I mean, for people to get a hold of you somehow through
All
email.
right, you got about 9.5 minutes with your 1 minute outro.
Yeah. So we got 9.5 minutes.
Oh, so we cut a segment too short.
I did, not you.
Okay.
I cut out earlier because I don't mind having extra. Sometimes I only have.
Leaving the bull behind, it's Real Estate Jerky.
And we're back for our final segment. I'm Ed Parco, mortgage advisor at Lending for Living, with my guest, Jamie Eager of First American Home Warranty. All right, so I want to kind of go back over some of the stuff we've been talking about, reiterate for the last 9 minutes or so that we have. And we were talking during the break, you wanted to bring up something about policies. Right?
Yeah, I do. Because I'm as guilty as the next person, Ed, of not reviewing like my homeowner's insurance or my auto insurance policy. I've never read them cover to cover. I do think it's important, though, to at least review them and familiarize yourself with what might be and might not be covered. And like you said, you read your policy and you were pleasantly surprised to find out, there are some things covered that I didn't know about. One of them that I like to mention in the real estate policy is pest control. And that means we will go out if little ants invade the home or they see spiders inside the house, those kinds of pests, not termites, not wood-boring beetles, those kinds of things, but just your normal everyday critters. All they need to do is place a service call, be $75, and we'll come out and do the spraying. So
One time?
but if they have
No,
a
I'm
problem,
just asking if they, because I mean, a lot of times I know with other companies, not home warranty companies, but pest companies, they come out like
on a regular service. I think if you're in an area where you need regular servicing, that's the best way to go. But I know that I've used mine sometimes in the wintertime when it starts raining and the ants move in. Then I call and I use it then. Maybe I've noticed a couple spiders out in the garage. I'll call then. So I've used mine.
You don't just take care of them yourself?
No.
You don't scream and call your husband to come get it?
No.
Because you are married, right?
I am married. And
Because I always hear, Dad or Mom, husband, come in and kill the spider. Yeah. It's like, can't do it yourself?
No. And in fact, that's funny that you say that. Even placing service calls, my husband helps with that. He's like, you take care of everybody else and you forget about your own family, because you can just so easily go online, place your service calls. And if my husband can do it, anybody can do it. We've been married about 28 years now, and it took me a long time to find a guy with such a cool last name, Eager.
Because you're eager to help.
Absolutely. In fact, and that just kind of brings me into when I have a 26-year-old son and I have a 19-year-old daughter. So literally, my kids have grown up in the business. And when my son was 7 years old, somebody asked him, "What does your mommy do?" And I thought, oh, man, what's he going to say? And so I listened.
So you gave him a little card?
No, I actually didn't, Ed. I let him roll with it. And he said, you know what? My mommy helps people. And I thought, okay, I really like that that's what he's hearing that I'm doing. Because when somebody has a problem, that's what they do is they call me and I'm here to help. I mean, that's something that it's just, it's innate. And so I love absolutely helping people.
Is that why your sister's a hair cutter? Because she likes, it's in the family. Everybody likes helping people.
It is.
They like to listen to people's problems.
Yeah, exactly. I know she should have gone to school to be a psychiatrist or psychologist, right? Because that's what she does day in and day out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like the same thing. You like to help. She likes to help also, right?
It's in our family. It's in our blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
And I want to bring back up, we talked about when you were talking about policies and you brought up that you can do septic systems, right?
Correct.
But we didn't, I don't think, clarify that. It's only up to $500 that it will cover, right? It's not going to cover replacement of one. It'll cover up to $500.
Exactly.
And that would be like clearing some pipes or something, but not
pumping it, that sort of thing. Yeah, like it doesn't cover the leach line. So that's why I really encourage people to actually review or read your policy. And I know that it's, boring material, but it's really important just to have a handle on some of the things that might be covered or not covered or limits.
Right. I've seen the book. It's, they have pretty big font on there. So if I can read it, it's not a big deal. Right.
And even if not, you got reading glasses, right? That's what we all need now.
I don't have reading glasses.
Okay, well, I'm guilty.
No, my wife does, but my wife also has the font on her phone so large it's like ridiculous. So I'm still okay reading up, it's when it's super small that I have issues with it. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah, on the back of something, it's like, what the heck? So I take a picture of it, raise it. But that's just so.
Part of growing old, my arms aren't long enough anymore, so I definitely need the readers.
All right, so let's go back to the home warranty again. But like I said, read your policy. Like Jamie said, it's important. Jamie, give your number again so people can get in contact with you and your email if they want to email you.
Sure. It's 209-300-4384, and my email is jeager, EGER at firstam, and that's spelled out FIRSTAM, short for American.com.
See, good thing I gave you enough time. All right, so what else should we go back over that you think was important? Because I know we talked about a few things on the break about home warranties. I think the big, the air conditioning's covered, the heater's covered, pipes on the inside of the houses are covered, but not on the outside towards the street, right? If it's inside the walls,
foundation, inside the foundation, correct. And, one of the things that we do, too, is we make sure that our contractors are licensed, bonded, and insured. So we don't want to send anybody out to anybody's home that we're not making sure that they've got their own liability insurance. Let's face it, you got a guy up working on your HVAC system on the roof. If something happened and he fell off, he's got his own insurance and doesn't go after the homeowner's insurance, because that would be horrible. So we do have safeguards making sure that the contractors that we're sending to the homes are licensed and bonded.
Now, do you guys have a policy for a roof at all?
Yeah, we do. And again, it's limited roof coverage. It's an extra $100, and it gives them up to $1,000 in coverage.
So basically, if there's a little issue, it would cover that, but it's not going to cover a new
if
roof.
There's a leak. Yeah. Right. And there could be a couple different leaks where, okay, they get cashed out for that $1,000 and they can hire a roofer not to do the repairs, but maybe to replace their whole roof and have some money going towards that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a lot better than, having nothing. Right. Absolutely nothing.
Now, I'm sure you have like a max yearly or a max for out of the policy, no?
No, there is no dollar limit other than certain systems and appliances like the septic, like the roof might have, or even concrete encased plumbing where there's a house that's on a slab foundation, there's a $1,500 limit. However, let's say it's a raised foundation and it's an older home and the plumbing system underneath the crawl space completely has to be replaced. There isn't a dollar limit because that plumbing is accessible through the crawl space versus if it's in concrete, then that way there is going to be that $1,500 limit.
Right. What if the water damage blew out one of the foundations? If it was a pier and beam, for some reason the leak from the thing caused damage to one of those, that wouldn't be covered.
It wouldn't be. That would be something, again, that goes back to
so
their homeowner's insurance. So
it's only the original issue,
correct,
not what it causes.
Correct. So that's where, let's just put it this way. A home warranty and homeowner's insurance really complement each other because the home warranty is going to take care of that plumbing leak, not the damage that it caused, where the homeowner's insurance is not going to take care of the leak. They're going to take care of the damage it caused. So I think it's just a really good marriage to have both.
Well,
home
you have
warranty.
you have to have a insurance.
You have to
on
have
your home.
homeowner's insurance, but I think, and another thing, Ed, that I'd like to mention is that warranties are renewed year after year, or can be renewed year after year, which I really recommend. So let me just go back to the beginning where it was $9,600 to replace an HVAC system for a home that's about 1,600 square feet. If you divide that by 19 years, that's $500 a year, about the cost of the warranty.
Right.
So better to come up with just deferring that cost to the warranty year after year than coming up with that big dollar amount all at once.
And that didn't count the hot water heater you had to replace because it was old to begin with and other stuff that comes along the ways.
Exactly.
You never know. I mean, I brought up garbage disposal. You could have a stove go out. You can have your microwave go out. Because that was one of our microwaves went out when we first moved back in. And I was surprised they replaced it with a brand new one that was even better than the original one. The
right.
Same manufacturer, but basically this better thing.
Right. And we don't necessarily match brand names, but it's the features that I mentioned. Yes.
The dollar amount from the original.
Yes.
All right, Jamie, it was really nice having you on today.
Thanks, Ed. Great seeing you again.